My name's Mattea Juengel. I teach math over at Abraham Lincoln High School. I was in Project CAM this past year, and it's definitely a different way of interacting with your peers across the district, and I'm really excited that we're bringing on more people this year so we can kind of grow that community and make sure that it's meaningful for everyone. So this session is all about practicing using videos and vlogs. I think for some people there's a lot of anxiety around this idea of, oh my gosh, I need to post a video reflection, that sounds really hard, how do I do it? Oh my gosh, it's going to have to be this horribly polished thing, and I don't have the video editing software to really do that. Just know that it doesn't need to be like that at all, and hopefully we'll give you some tips and tricks here so you can make sure it feels a lot more manageable to you, and something that you can use to improve your teaching practice. So you can go ahead, take a look at the document for a little bit. I also, I like running off of some Google Slides, but you can also, if you want to share your learning, you can do so on Twitter or Google Plus, or using that hashtag project CamCon, so PROJCO, for those of you who are Twitter aficionados. I like to try to be on Twitter sometimes. Never on Twitter. There's two faces of Twitter. It's very interesting. But I actually had to teach someone in my foundation about like what Twitter was and how is it used in the ed world. It's very fascinating, I find. So I'm going to be working off the slides just because it has visuals for me, so I can focus our conversations in some of the right places. If I can get my tab to change. There we go. So I like to make sure I model good CLO practices in all the sessions that I do. There we go. So you're going to create a video reflection based upon the highlights of your practice for the 2014-2015 school year using supporting technology applications. So I know some people, most of you are on laptops, some of you got a iPad there? Mm-hmm. iPads are fun. Yeah. I actually do a lot of video with iPad using YouTube Capture. So there's all different ways that you can do it. The success criteria, this is something that I add with my students. So how do I know that I'm successful in meeting this objective? So first we're going to make sure we discuss what does a video reflection look like, what are the challenges, what are the successes that I've had or maybe you've had with them, and then understand what are the technology options that I have, right? What is it, can I use an iPad? Can I use my laptop? Do I need a particular set of equipment for this? And then hopefully you'll be able to record a video reflection and post it to the Google Plus community for Project Cam Opener. Yes?
Do you have to be a part of that Project Cam Opener?
To post to it? Not to be in this class, but if you want to be posting to the community, then you have to join the Project Cam Opener that way. But this, like, all the stuff will still apply to you, you just might not post to the same Google Plus community. Does that make sense? Okay. So, welcome. Great. So make sure, we're just going to look around real quick, make sure you share your name, where you teach, whether you have any experience with Project Cam Opener, were you able to join the community, the Google Plus community, are you familiar with that, and then what you hope to learn today. So we can just start up front here.
All right, my name is Mattea. I am 13 years at Abraham Lincoln High School, and I'm moving to Bruce Randolph School next year. I was in Project Cam Opener last year, and what I used it for, I was trying to achieve a blended learning. And the truth is I wanted to increase equity. I wanted to have videos accessible to my students of lessons in case they were absent. I have a lot of kids who leave for extended periods of time and then they come back. And then they're expected to know everything that I taught the time that they were gone. So I wanted to build something so that they can catch up and not lose out on some of this content. I learned how to create these videos. I've uploaded some of them to my YouTube channel. And I'm continuing to learn with Mattea on, even other things. There's this thing called Classcraft that I've started to look into, which is like a gaming type of wrap around your class for classroom management and all sorts of things. And I'm hoping to continue doing the videos and expanding my use of technology in the classroom, both for myself and my students.
Okay, I'm Scott Dom. I also teach at Abraham Lincoln High School. And next job I'm going to be a DR for the English department. So I just thought this class seemed interesting, and since you're teaching it, you know, I can run to you for help. So that's why I'm here, is just to learn more about this sort of thing.
You two ladies?
So my name is Paula Hamill, and I'm one of the assistant principals at Thomas Jefferson High School, and we're doing differentiated roles next year, but we also have all of our departments who have collaborative planning time, and so they're all doing their own PLCs. And so I just went to the project cam, got some stuff, and so hopefully we can, you know, have teachers show them what they're doing and use it in the classroom and just see how it goes.
Diana Goldman, I teach 7th grade at Corey, and I'll be in Project Cam this year for the first time. I'm hoping to, everybody says you have to be really focused so that you're not just videotaping hours of yourself walking around in the classroom. So I'm kind of trying to, right now, thinking I'm focused on independent activities. So after my lesson and before I start meeting with small groups, what are, you know, how am I going to structure what kids are doing independently so that it's authentic and useful and rigorous. So that's my focus as of right now. I don't know, I'm sure it'll change as we go through.
It'll change from day to day, week
Yeah.
to week.
Yeah.
No, that's totally normal. And you?
I am Doug Main. I am the music teacher at Archuleta Elementary. This is my first year with Project Cam Opener, and I'm kind of wanting to use it to help with differentiation, since I only see the kids once a week. Maybe videoing some lessons for my faster learners so I can spend some more time with people that are struggling. But that's my idea right now, so we'll see.
And you two ladies?
My name is Pam Lockwood, and I'm a music teacher at Brown IB and Fairview. And this is my first year, and I would like to be able, a couple of things, be able to video performances for reflective purposes for students, as well as video some of my things that, you know, perhaps I like his ideas for like that as well. And just even for my own personal growth, it's kind of watch what I'm doing, how I interact with students, that kind of thing.
Cool. And Kathy, this is my first year also. And what's the question?
So we're just kind of getting a little bit of background where you teach,
Oh,
what experience you got with Project Cam Opener, and kind of what do you want to get out of our session today?
I teach with Doug and at Archuleta, and I'm just really trying to get a lot out of it. I don't know what I'm doing this year.
No, that's totally exciting.
Excited.
That's actually pretty typical for a lot of like the classes that I teach for events like this. Like you're gonna have people who are very much beginners, some people who know some things and want to do a little bit more on their own, and so we try to make sure we get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I helped out a little bit too with assessment, because I'm in the gym.
Okay,
Is that about good? Thanks.
cool. There's actually, you should talk to me, there's a really great app for PE called Easy Portfolio.
Okay.
Can do a really good job like recording kids with individual movements if you're trying to coach them with those pieces. So just remind me and I'll show that to you.
I want to that it were
Right, do you want me to pull up the Bitly again? That's me. I teach math at Abraham Lincoln High School right now. I'm working on a master's degree in K-12 instructional technology. If you're a Twitter person, that's my Twitter handle. And that is how I look at students in the hallway when they're not doing what they're supposed to. They captured that during one of our projects at our school. So really quick, like this session is focused a lot on video reflections, but it sounds like some of you are also looking for little like smaller pieces that can also go into Project Cam Opener. So while I'm going to focus on the video reflections, we can also kind of talk about how can we incorporate some of those other pieces you guys are looking for your classroom at the same time. Because I know for you, like maybe the reflection may be the last important thing. I do know as a part of Project Cam Opener, I, for example, did a mid-year reflection, and you're expected to kind of record a video of yourself and post it. And for some people, that's really, really scary. yourself out there, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm putting myself out there for the world. It's actually not so bad, and it doesn't have to be super complicated. So I'm going to pull up just my example of what I recorded. If the internet is going to work with me today. It's been really weird this morning. There we go. So I uploaded it to my YouTube channel. Notice it's like almost 6 minutes, not quite. This was the beginning of the year actually.
Kind of hopefully what you saw a little bit in the video that I uploaded from my Algebra 2 class. But the nice thing about that lesson is that the kids really got to talk about their math and like show each other what they were understanding, and it was really cool to see. There's a couple students who are normally pretty lost, but like I was not Taylor, he was like all about the calculator, so it was really neat to see him have that opportunity to shine and show his knowledge, and I really love when I get those opportunities in my classroom. Reflecting on what I would probably improve about the lesson, when kids were coming up and presenting their ideas and their resources and stuff or what they found, what I probably would do next time is have some sort of graphic organizer. I was actually thinking of it as like a four-square model perhaps, where there's tables in one and graphs in another, equations, and then verbal representation, and have students kind of summarize all the presentation in some sort of note.
You're going to have to watch the entire
That's
thing.
kind of what I was thinking there.
I actually really hate listening to my voice. So any like initial reactions to what a video reflection looks like? Like what does it look like?
It seems like you did it right after.
Yeah, so I did it right after my lesson. I was kind of reflecting on how I went, those different pieces. And I did post that video of the lesson itself to the Project Cam Opener beforehand. So.
I don't think we do enough of reflecting because we're so busy. I think this is really important to put that into your routine to really think about what you're doing and what you're going to do better.
Yeah, I mean, like, so we think about these things all the time, but I'm going to tell you because I actually, like, said it out loud and made the, like, a set time to reflect on it, I'm probably going to be far more likely to use that graphic organizer. And the next time we did presentations, I did make sure that I used a graphic organizer that I had envisioned for the kids. Does this look like super highly polished and staged?
Yeah.
Are you just standing up? Like, are we sitting at your desk?
I think I'm literally, I'm at the front of my room. I'm trying to remember. Oh, so my desk was actually in the back. I have my laptop up front for presentations, so I'm doing it through the webcam on my laptop and just pushing record on YouTube.
And do you have to have is there a YouTube app for a laptop?
No, you can just actually, we'll go through that.
Okay.
So how do I upload, like, because this for some, like, it's one of the expectations of Project Cam Opener that you are reflecting. There's definitely like a formal mid-year reflection. And so for a lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, how do I do that? I figured out how to record my classroom, but I don't even know what a video reflection looks like. And hopefully this lets you know, like, it's really not a big deal. Like, I literally, like, sat down at my laptop, went to YouTube, pushed record, and then saved it onto my channel to post out.
Well, it just kind of seems like you're talking to somebody.
Yeah, and I don't know who, right?
Right.
And so a lot of people get freaked out. You're like, oh my gosh, who's gonna hear it? Don't think you're that special. Like, you're special, but you're not that special is what I tell my students, right? It's not like the whole world is gonna watch this and judge you, right? But the people that are interested in your practice and are probably coming with it with a very positive lens that's open to learning are probably actually gonna gain a lot from it. And so you don't really need to worry about, oh my gosh, what if I say something and someone's gonna think I'm like this moron? Like, that doesn't happen. Just so you know, that does not happen. People who are watching you reflect are those same people that are actually really excited to see that reflection and learn from you, and they're not looking for mistakes. Like whether I trip over my sentence, or even if I speak incomplete sentences, because I often don't, especially as a math teacher. It's, I don't know, I have a weird vocabulary syntax. So, again, other notes, it doesn't have to be polished. There is no required or appropriate length. I just do like a 5 to 6 minutes because I I don't like talking for that long, but if you really feel like a 20-minute conversation is gonna help you, by all means do it. If you only wanna record for like a minute, like a quick snapshot of what you're thinking at this moment, that's totally fine too. There is no need to script, you just push record and talk. So that's the big emphasis that I wanna leave you with today, that this is not something that should be adding to your plate, but instead should just really be helping you reflect on your practice and improve your teaching. So, successes. So in Project Cam Opener, I think my mid-year reflection was definitely one of my successes. I was able to just, I don't know, I had this weird epiphany where it was like, it doesn't even matter how many other people's videos I watched, it doesn't even matter how many people watched my videos, but just the fact that I've made it a priority within my practice to be reflective and open to other people, I think it was just a really good start, and so I talked a little bit about that in my mid-year reflection, and so for me that was a nice way that I realized that it was important that I keep on going, whether I thought people were watching my videos or not. The other thing that I actually had a really easy time with, I often like come up with these crazy awesome ideas like the minute before I'm actually supposed to implement it. You all know how that goes, right? You're like taking a shower that morning, you're like, oh my gosh, my lesson would be so much better if I did this, right? So I didn't exactly schedule that time to set up my equipment beforehand. I had one of the Hues. I didn't make that time to like set up my equipment beforehand and make sure I could capture this beautiful thing. But what I did find is that if I found the time to just get my iPad out and record a quick minute or 2-minute segment of what I was doing, that was a lot more manageable for me, and I felt that it was a lot more likely for people to see because I have time for like a 2 to 5 minute little snapshot, whereas if I recorded a whole hour lesson, well, I mean, that's great for me to watch, but the time that, the likelihood that either I or someone else would be able to watch it, not so good. Plus the file uploading time on that is a lot longer. So think about it, it doesn't have to be this overwhelming capture an entire lesson. Maybe you just want to take a look at smaller chunks or share some things that you do well in those smaller chunks. So for those of you who were in Project Cam Opener last year, I know Maria, you were, where would you say your successes were with the Project Cam Opener?
I wanted to do things like Khan Academy, and I learned to use an app on Google called Screencastify that will record anything. You can choose the whole screen, part of the screen. And so I was able to, like I had some biology genetics problems that I was working together with the students on the board, and they would read the problem out loud, and we'd say, what do we need? And basically problem solving. And I was able to record it, and kids, the idea is that kids who had a hard time understanding how to solve the problem could go back to it. So I learned how to use Screencastify. I learned how to post it to YouTube. I'm trying to think other things. I learned how to do Google Hangouts, which we're gonna do in the afternoon. So I feel like I have my foot in different things that I know I can leverage this year to increase my learning, so anyway.
So if I were to kind of capture, you feel like you got a lot of things started, maybe not necessarily refined to the degree that you wanted, but you at least have the basic skills to move forward. So, anyone else with any experience with anything even like this? Anything that worked for you, even with respect to reflecting on your practice in general? Does anybody blog?
I've done a ton of, like in my master's where you had to do written reflections. It just was kind of forced, and nobody sits down at 3:45 and writes about their day.
Right. So do you think video might be a more natural?
I think it's a little bit faster and less, less organized. Doesn't seem like it would take as much.
Well, good. Good. I'm glad that's apparent. Because some people get like really worried about this kind of stuff, like it's going to take them forever. It's not so bad. For me, my challenges were scheduling time. Like, how do I make sure I schedule this sacred time? And moving forward this year, I think I'm going to actually make myself a weekly calendar appointment to make sure that I go and do some sort of reflection or some sort of engagement with the Google Plus community. So that way I'm able to kind of maximize some of the resources that are gonna be there and some of the conversations that can be had. But that's definitely something I would recommend if you're someone like me who's like always has 5 million different things to do, and if it's not on a calendar or in your email or something like that, it doesn't get done. Just literally making those calendar appointments. Anyone? Well, Maria, I'm gonna come to you. What were your challenges, and everybody else think about what are your anticipated challenges?
My anticipated challenges is I'm moving schools, so I have no idea what laptop I'm gonna have. And so I've been working with a Mac, and all my things are on this Mac, and I'll probably turn it in, and I'm gonna get a new laptop, and I'm gonna have to install new software. And I'm hoping that the laptop is better and faster than the one I have, which was a challenge this year. The laptop I had was very slow. I will say I had a challenge with this camera called the View camera. It seemed to work when I first hooked it up with a USB drive, and then it didn't work anymore. And so I stopped using it. Another challenge was that I wanted to videotape student interactions, and I got a camera that was hooked up, like I have a camera already on here, so this additional camera that I got didn't really serve any purpose. It was actually more stuff, but carrying a laptop around, then the kids see themselves in the video, it really affected how they behaved, and so that was a challenge, and this
In a
year
good way or a bad way?
in a bad way.
Because they were goofing in front of it?
Well, they were like, they didn't wanna be taped, you know, and things like that. And so this year I asked for either a digital camera or the GoPro, and I got the GoPro. So they won't be seeing themselves and it won't be as intrusive. So those were some of the challenges that I have. My new challenges, I'm gonna be working with new technology. I have never used a GoPro, and I have never used, what else did I get? The iPad swivel. And so I'm gonna be trying to figure out what to use, when, and those types of things. So those are my challenges.
What anticipated challenges do you have for this upcoming school year? I know for you, you're in a very unique role. What challenges do you think you're gonna have rolling some of this out to your staff?
I think just maybe buy-in, because it's the first year that we're doing individualized PLCs versus PD just as a square. So each department will do their own, and I think it'll be good to have that, you know, here's a way to document, or here's a way to reflect, or, you know, show how you're implementing, but it's just one more thing to do, so I hope it's not a hassle for them.
It becomes something that's worth their time instead
Right,
of
I
saying
want it to be
yeah.
meaningful, right.
Cool.
Mattea, can I interrupt just ever so quickly? I'm so sorry, this is probably not pertaining to this group at all, but I have to mention, Smithsonian Institute has come to me pretty upset for the second time that we're eating their food. So if you're up here and you're over in the DSST area, please don't be eating their food. They've moved it farther and farther away from us, and apparently we keep pursuing it. I have to remind everybody, our food is downstairs. I wouldn't come session to session tell every person if they weren't visibly upset by this. So, probably not you guys, but I had to say something. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So anticipated challenges. What do we think is gonna trip us up next year?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to comment on something as, you know, as an assistant principal. My art coach, videotaped our PLCs and then videotaped the lesson that we did as a result of our PLC planning. And I had these videos as evidence for things, you know, so, I think I think sometimes teachers might feel defensive about being videotaped. I would try to tell them that it could be very good to have some of your lessons as evidence of that you have done certain things in the classroom, and I was able to use some of these videos as evidence, so,
In a good way.
in a good way, yes, in a great way,
That's
so,
good.
yeah. So,
A lot of people are scared of being videotaped, yeah.
I never thought that these videos were once gonna be like that useful to me, so anyway.
As you're saying that too, like, I sit down and do the leave application end of year, I can't remember, like, what I've done. I was looking at stuff and, you know, you look, oh yeah, we did that in Google Classroom in October. So, I think that's true, maybe it'll help.
And even
You can
logging
say,
what
you
you're
can put
doing,
in
yeah.
that I did this and it's just a good record for yourself, even, not if you're trying to prove anything, but just to.
I think for me, it'll be like how to best use the technology and knowing what do I record.
Yeah, whatever you want is
People
what
are
I'll tell you.
saying, you don't wanna record a whole lesson, well, how do I know what lesson or what part of a lesson to record, so I'm not just recording garbage.
Yeah, totally. And you had an anticipated challenge you could talk about.
My schedule, you know, I have trimesters, you know, 3 trimesters, and I see students for basically 7 class periods a trimester.
Okay.
And what I'm gonna try to do this year is to put on a show at the end of the year that teach a little bit, and then a little bit, and a little bit, and so this would be a great, reflective thing, so they can say, oh yeah, that's what we did, you know, and we can improve on it and whatever, and add to it. I guess my challenge is, how do you keep track of that? I mean, I have a lot of classes. Is it just learning how to like make files and?
Just pick one.
Yeah, I wouldn't do them all. I would pick one. I would definitely pick
No,
one.
I wanna do it for the kids so they can see.
Then I'd come up with a naming system. And like a naming system for all your files and videos. So for example, if like, they go by teacher, I'm assuming, is that correct? Like the
Yes.
teacher, their home classroom teacher, maybe like your video titles make sure they always include the teacher's name, the date, and then whatever your target is, and that might be a really good way for you to organize them, so you can look at them, you know, chronologically, like what are all these classes doing at about the same time, or look at it longitudinally, like what does that class look like over time. But I think for you, a naming system that you're gonna be able to keep track of is gonna be what makes that manageable for you. Yeah, and then with the YouTube thing, we can do this separately from everyone else unless everyone's interested, but I actually think a playlist might be really helpful for you. So a playlist is basically a sequence of videos, and so if you want a playlist for every class that you work with, that might be a really good way for you to organize your videos. So we can take a look at that, but that's a YouTube feature, not necessarily like how do I reflect, but we can look at it too. Anything for you, Shanique? No? You're just here to learn?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know anything.
You don't know anything?
That is great.
Yeah, so for me, for my plans for next year, I know that Project Cam Opener is definitely working on it to make sure that everything's targeted to a more narrow audience, so it's not like I'm posting to 400 teachers in the district, right? Like, also you can post into smaller communities. I think they're arranging them based upon what was in your proposal. So knowing like, hey, I'm posting to a group of math teachers that might actually like really benefit from what I'm saying instead of it being kind of lost in the giant sea of posts on that big Google Plus community. And then for me, really using that iPad to record more short clips, right? That was something I did really well last year, and so I want to make sure, since that's a strength of mine, that I continue to use it in that way. So let's get into, we want to jump into some of the video options, like how to record, some of those logistics, and play a little bit instead of talk so much. As much fun as it is to get like some of the pedagogy down, I think that we're definitely in a pretty good place.
I have a question about legal stuff, like,
Yeah.
what are some of the ground rules of videotaping people and?
So Ben does have a consent form for students that you can have them sign, like their parents sign for them and stuff like that. But unless you're posting it out public outside of professional community, you actually have a lot of leeway in that sense. And there's a couple ways that you can do that. Like when you post a video, don't post it to public, right? That's one thing to keep in mind. You can make sure that it's either unlisted or private and only shared with a select group of people. So that's in the settings of when you actually upload the video. For the most part though, unlisted is totally fine. And here's why. Because when it's unlisted, link in order to find it. So your only danger there is if someone forwards the link to someone you don't want to have it. That's the only danger with the unlisted. But I especially with the culture at Lincoln, I don't imagine you have any issues with that. So just keeping your videos unlisted and sending out the links that way should probably work. So yeah. Do we want to take a look at what all these different things look like? I think I see most of you have a laptop. We just kind of want to see what I did for my reflection. Does that work? Okay. So I have my separate identity over here in Chrome. And I'm literally just going to go to youtube.com. Now you'll see that I'm signed into YouTube. If you have not created a YouTube account, you'll need to do that. You can do it with your DPS credentials. You can do it with another Gmail credentials, like whatever works for you. I have like 4 different Gmails, and I post to all their YouTubes based upon like what audience I'm trying to reach and what purpose it's for. Like, I don't know. I don't do that many on my personal account because I just don't really like recording myself in general that much. But when I'm here on my YouTube channel, you're going to see that I'm logged in right here. And you'll actually see that I have a separate channel for my project Cam Opener. Right, and so you can add accounts based upon what works for you. You can either keep it under your personal account, or you can, are they adding their own project Cam Opener?
That's not necessary this year. It's we tried it with a separate channel this past year, and it worked for some people, but for some people it was like, I can never get back into my separate channel that I had set up. So it's just a little bit easier to do it under your main account.
Right. So if you're like a tech guru and you want to make a new account, go for it. But if you're not, don't worry about it. So you'll just need to be signed in. And then there's this button up here that says upload. And so it gives you a lot of options, right? You can do a webcam capture. That's what I typically do. Notice here, Scott, this is where you're going to set the privacy settings for it. So like, I really do not want someone to be able to like Google this, right? And so I'm going to put it under unlisted, or if I only want to share it with particular people, I'm going to make sure that it's private. Or even only just for me, right? Like, sometimes we record things just so we can look back on them and we can remember what we did, but we don't necessarily want anyone else to see it. For some reason in my grad class, like everybody had like the most impeccable hair whenever they were recording their videos, right? But that's not necessary, right? You don't have to look super polished or anything like that. But maybe if you're sensitive for some reason that day, that reflection, you can also make sure it's private, right? And so we can actually record something right here, right now. I'm going to put webcam capture, so I'm going to push that record button. And that should, let me just start recording. Now, this is probably going to pop up for you if it's the first time that you're recording on a particular machine. And I'm actually glad I have a new machine for this for you guys.
So you record through YouTube?
Totally record through YouTube. If I said it was easy, I wasn't trying to sugarcoat it or sound like I was an Uber nerd. Like, it really is that easy. So I'm going to make sure that I allow YouTube to record me. So I'm going to push that. I'm going to check the box to remember this so it won't ask me again. And I'm going to push close. Oh, look. Hi, that's me. And I'm recording myself right now. This is fun. And so that can record for a while. We can let it go for, I don't know, however long we want to. This should be fun. I'm going to push stop recording. And then when I'm done, I just go to continue. And then I can start actually editing the information for that video. So this is where you are going to want to make sure you name it very carefully if you're trying to keep track. So it already says webcam video from June 9th, right? And it gives me the date and time, like all that super cool stuff. I'm going to put test video for project Cam Opener PD 6-9-15. It's unlisted. And then do you see right here how it says add to playlist? Over here? You could actually have it playlisted by the teacher. So you create a new playlist and you can add that video to that particular teacher.
So only videos for that teacher's class.
Would be on that playlist. Yeah. So I can that's like a YouTube question, not a Project Cam Opener question, but I can show you that too. I'm always happy to share all my stuff. So I just add it to a playlist. I can add a description. I can also add tags. And so this, if like for some reason I want to find all the videos where I am teaching geometry, I might add geometry as a tag. And so I can search my videos for the tag geometry, all those videos come up, right? Or if you're one of the differentiated roles leaders, right? I might tag it by the LEAP standard that I'm looking for, right? So if I want to see, like, I know, for example, like this teacher did really, really, really well with I2, rigor. I mean, that's like a really hard one to get right, you know, or I should say to score well on. And so I might tag it I2 because it's a really good example, and so I can show someone else when that would be a really good example. But those are different things that you can actually put into your videos, and the kind of ways for you to be able to find what you want later. But tags they're very popular these days is what I will say. So I'm not going to add it to a playlist because I have no playlist. I can go ahead and save changes.
Can I ask you a really stupid question? How do I get to the webcam? How do I start?
What do you mean?
Click on upload.
Yeah, go to upload. Upload is your friend. So that would be how I would save the video. And then if I can even go to advanced settings. So here I can take a look at what are all, do I want to allow people to embed this site or this video into a blog or website? Maybe I don't, right? So I could uncheck that. Do I want if I have any subscribers, do I want them to get a notification that I'm putting out this video? And this is just like YouTube stuff, maybe not necessarily for Project Cam Opener. And so this kind of gives you all of the different pieces there. And then,
So from YouTube, from that page, could you send it to the community page, or do you have to do?
yes, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, I'm gonna leave this page. So now under my videos, look. And my video manager under videos, I have a test video for Project Cam Opener. Okay. Now let's say I want to share it, right? That's the question. So I can, let's see. I can actually go to the video right here. Hi, that's me, and I'm recording myself right now. This is fun. Alright, I'm gonna mute that. So notice you can actually like add music if you want. You can add text. Like there's a lot of YouTube features. So if this is something you're creating for kids, like doing it through YouTube is not a bad idea. Does anybody know what this symbol means as a universal thing? I mean, it says it right next to it. Share. Okay, so anytime you see this logo just at all on the internet, that's what it means. It means share. Just like the little circle with the line through it, it's like the universal symbol for power, right? Turning stuff on and off. So I like to add those little tidbits so people can like speak geek a little bit more. And so now I have a link right here that I can use. So let's say I'm going to share that to Project Cam Opener, because why not? I'm going to have to go to my Google Plus. Why are you not letting me go? That is so weird. That's a unit plan for AP Calc if anybody needs that. There we go. Let's go here. I want to skip this. Alright. So I can go to my Google Plus account and go to communities. Here is communities I've joined, so hopefully you've joined Project Cam Opener at this point. So I can just click into the community. Share what's new. Here's a test video for our session on video reflections. can go to the video, I can go to my YouTube videos, right? And I can even add it right there. And I can practice capture, share. So just like you would post to like Facebook or something like that, you insert a video. The nice thing is that your Google Plus account and your YouTube account, like all that stuff is kind of married together. So it's Google's really incestuous. Like everything can get into everything else. So that's why you see like under my videos, like I can just take something from my video because it's all the same account. And so that's how you can just record something really quick on your laptop and post it. Does that help? Kind of as like a basic reflection piece here. Do you guys want, I mean, I know, do you have a device with you today? Okay, we might get you into practice if you want. Oh. Do we want to like make a practice video and practice posting it? I think that would be a great thing for us to do. Just practice it with our laptops, and if you have an iPad, I can come over and help you with that piece too.
And if you want to use my computer, you can, because I've already done this. Do you want to?
Yeah, that's fine.
You want to start with that, Maria?
Yeah.
Who can help?
All right, so I'm going to show you the most beautiful app you'll ever see.
So on the iPad, you use YouTube Capture?
I totally use YouTube Capture. I can show you how nerdy I am with my students. I actually record announcements for my class and use YouTube Capture to add music to it and sound like an Uber nerd, and then I send it out through Remind, and so they watch the video for the announcement. Yeah, so YouTube is pretty. I've even got it on my phone. This is when I've done it the most.
Oh, you've got YouTube Capture on my phone?
Yeah, I got it everywhere. I've got like 3 iPads now.
What's my account?
So this is just
It's your,
it's under work.
it's just your
So this is
email
YouTube
account.
Capture.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, careful. So that I can
Password? So.
record video or do whatever. I can record myself, do like a selfie. No, I'm not really that into it. So
Okay.
I can go. Let's
Go
see.
ahead and type in your email. So it's going to be your name underscore your last name at
No, I don't want that.
upsk12.net.
I don't want it. Let me go over. Let me get there. So I notice I'm signed in here for my YouTube channels. For the app.
On Capture.
On Capture. Do you guys want to take some time to download the app? That might be a good place to start.
K-12.
Yeah, you can use your phone. You can use your iPad too. And I would put it on your iPad. I might actually go get my iPad too, so you can see it in both places. Upload on Wi-Fi only. I don't think so.
And then your password is your regular password that you use for everything. Yeah.
Oh, good. It automatically hooked up to the Wi-Fi. No, that is my sensitive.
Can you try it again?
So this is what it looks like right here. Just like my video.
Yeah.
I'll be back. Actually has the rest, so maybe my phone's too full for video or something like that. So I might reflect it around here. Hi, this is a test video. I'm recording myself. Blah blah blah. You know, like all that good stuff. So that's it's summer. We're doing this during summer, right? So then I can stop it. Right. So all I've done so far in Eek is this is where I was. Oh, and I can add clips together too. So like, let's say I want to add another clip. Hi, Nick.
Hey,
What's up? You having a good summer so far?
so far.
We're gonna miss you next year.
I'm gonna miss you guys too.
I know, it's gonna be hard. All right. So now I've got 23 seconds worth of stuff, right? And so it's put it on one continuous timeline for me. So even if I like needed to stop and do it in 2 segments, I can add music. Because why would I not add music? YouTube soundtracks, heck yeah. That's right here for working on.
Would it be Catherine?
often drowns it out even on
There
the
was something
listening.
different
So
about
if you wanna use the music, make sure your audio is really loud when you record. So I added some music, and I can see what it looks like.
And the computer gave me one. Okay, let's try it.
Okay.
So wait,
Try
is
something
this
else.
YouTube?
So let's.
It's
go to
gonna be-
YouTube and see if we can create.
So what do you use?
Okay.
Just iMovie?
It's YouTube Capture, it's an app,
Oh,
right?
YouTube.
Enter title, test video on iPad.
I'll charge to that.
Privacy, definitely unlisted. And notice here, you can share directly to Google Plus, like your Google Plus account if you want. That won't put it to the community, but if it's something you're just putting out for your own personal, like, that you wanna share with the world,
Sorry, it
that's
doesn't
something that you can do.
It doesn't recognize.
Description, via YouTube capture, done. I'm gonna put the date, right? I always save my stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, cause my hair looked like that.
Have you been
Just sure it's always changing. Right,
Yeah.
and then, and what do you think I do? What do you think I do next?
Oh,
Where to guess?
it's that
Just see
Seymour
it
too.
here.
It's that Seymour too. Seymour too. Let's try it. That's it.
Really like it.
Two, and it still says it doesn't recognize.
So, the reason why I like doing it through YouTube capture versus just your regular camera is it streamlines that process of uploading the video.
Cause if you do it otherwise, then you have to go find it in your.
In your camera,
or-
yeah.
and then-
Seems like it would just be much faster.
Wait, have you
You're
ever
using the
Just
app?
to use the app.
Yeah.
Than try to
I mean,
do
it's, now notice, it's about the same speed as my laptop,
It took away the
right? Like if I go to the
time.
site, it's the same thing as opening the app, like it's about equivalent, and the process is almost identical. Right, I record a video, it goes onto my channel, because I'm logged into that particular account, the end. Right?
If you're recording for YouTube on your laptop.
Yeah.
So we can just record and upload right away.
Yeah.
How about that going to the cloud, Swivel?
So what Swivel does, so YouTube won't do it with the whole like fun microphone, swivel type stuff. But what you can do is you can activate, like link your YouTube channel to your Swivel account, and they'll talk to each other. Does that make sense?
When you.
Yeah, so if you link them together, they talk to each other, and so they'll share, like Swivel will share videos with YouTube. YouTube doesn't share videos with Swivel, it's like a one-way communication.
Okay.
And then try it.
But because we need to use Swivel and because the sound
Yeah.
is there, right?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
right, so if I want to capture my sound as the teacher, right,
That's
you're
the Swivel.
gonna need a
Okay,
Swivel.
so now you.
But if you link them with your YouTube, basically they'll talk to each other and it'll all go to the same place.
Yeah.
Sorry, you lost me, the swivel thing.
If you're using the Swivel, so that, for example, right there, it's on your iPad, it's a particular program. And so right now, I don't know whether it's still recording or not, but this microphone is recording me at the same time of the video, and it also tracks my movements. So if I move across the room or whatever, it
So
follows
set up
me.
your channel and begin.
So I know that Angie, Brenda got them as SDRs for next
Is
year.
that fine?
So if you're looking to share.
Select channel. Do you wanna
I
do that?
just feel like I'm out of the loop by doing all about this project.
Well, I think they're doing another round in the fall, so you could probably apply for it then too.
Oh, this is one day. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff. Alright, so our goal today is that everybody uploads some sort of video, right? Some sort of reflection, whether it's like, hey, this is what I learned in this session, or hey, this is how my practice was going this year, right?
Okay.
Anything like
So
that.
now you'll get,
Fine.
YouTube.
I should have done YouTube
and-
capture, cause it's the best thing ever. I even added corny music to my video, cause why not?
Yeah, summer.
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah.
No, it's a good one.
Are they all posting them in the community?
Working.
We're working on that, yeah.
No.
So we basically showed like if you're online,
Manually?
and you're all in the
So
same
now you
account,
can
it shows up under your video, and then you just pick your video and that's it.
Oh, sure.
It's like Facebook.
Oh, thanks.
It's just like Facebook actually.
I don't.
You want it unlisted?
Because it's been so long since I've done anything on it, and
You
now every
haven't-
time I have to go and do something,
You
Or actually, click on
You
record.
haven't missed anything.
that's what I figured, but.
I mostly use
Now
that for
you're
birthday
gonna record
reminders.
yourself, say.
So do we have a section email, the same one that is on the website?
No,
No.
CamCon has its own, and it's at the bottom of your session guide with how to register in SchoolNet, what they should search for in the PD search
Okay.
to find it, and the link to the
So just say your name, what school you're from, and say that this is your first YouTube video on your YouTube channel. There. Whatever you want to say.
Handsome promise.
No, forget about it. Go.
Have you heard about all that stuff that's going on in this silly class? This woman saying, this is my first video on YouTube. That's
I forgot I know this little telegram.
Okay, so now you click on
Hi
continue,
everybody, my name is Mattea Juengel.
Oh, that was a cute little look at that. That's me.
and what do you want to name it?
So, because it also
My
uses
first
stuff from your
video.
camera roll, if you want. So you can edit and
And
upload
it's
stuff.
unlisted, let's just save
What
it.
are we even having?
I'm going to let
Oh.
you drive, because
Oh,
unless you
okay.
do it, you're,
Oh, no, I get it.
I have something
It's
planned.
unlisted. Oh, it's
still
saved.
saving, it's hard to tell.
I'm finding as I like
And
these
so
videos, I need to have like a
now,
stock of like publicly acceptable videos to show as like practice.
So,
Oh, now we go somewhere here.
hold on. Go to your channel. So it's TV seems.
I like your jingle.
You got it?
Jungle after
So-
I'm done. Upload.
Sure.
And.
Is that the account?
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Really?
Yep. You just
How
made a
easy.
video.
Okay, and then.
You can pick whether you want to send me notifications.
Oh, is it? So if I go to my Google, no, my
Google Plus.
YouTube, okay,
That
how do I
will be
get
there.
there? How do I get there?
Oh, you wanna get
So-
to-
What's that?
So right now you have this as private. Do you want to make it unlisted?
Unlisted.
So you're actually posting it to your Google Plus account, not the Google Plus community. Does that make sense?
But I don't need to post it to my Google Plus account.
Right. So
I want to
let's
post it to the,
the community.
yeah,
YouTube channel.
to our community.
Right.
Yeah,
So go onto
whenever
the
I
Google Plus
get into
community on your
YouTube, I
laptop.
come to
Because
this
it'll show up
little
in your YouTube
area
videos now.
here. Cause it's
You know what I
like
mean?
right now, you're
And
just
I
on
don't even
YouTube,
know how to
like
find
you're gonna
it.
search a video
Do you want help?
versus.
Okay, that's what I'm here for. Right now, it's like our tinker time.
Yes.
So,
Okay, alright.
So
which one?
home, you're gonna go to
Home.
communities. Communities? Are you part of the Project Cam community?
I thought so.
It
Is
does
it?
not look like.
Oh,
It does not look like it. Oh, look.
am I?
You
I
wanna
was
make-
not.
I don't think you were. Join community.
Okay.
Welcome. Okay, so you're gonna share something, right?
how do you get there?
Invite your friends.
No. Go back, just
At
cancel.
least
Just
it's cancel.
Good, good. Alright, so
So
you're in the community,
here,
so I'm gonna get you out of here.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna make you practice.
Yes, that's what I
Okay.
need.
Alright, so how do I get to a community, Anik?
Mm-hmm. Go home to community. And then
Oh, look.
it's right here. This is my community that I joined, and then I'm gonna share
So we're
this
going
link.
to-
Hi, everybody.
Okay. So Google Drive and YouTube are separate applications, they all log on with the same
Is
login.
my
So this is
first-
not YouTube, this is Google Drive.
Oh,
See where it says
So-
Drive?
enjoy. And then if
It's very
I
confusing.
change my mind,
So,
can I delete it?
so
Sure.
here,
What'd you
now
just
see
do?
you're in
Ugh.
not
Go
on.
back here, go back here.
So, I clicked on here and,
Right.
Okay, and then
Video.
I can go here to videos, and it has that.
Now you
video.
have a YouTube video now, right?
Yeah.
So go to your YouTube videos.
But she was saying, let's say we wanna share it on the project campus.
That's what you did today.
Then, you click on share, and it will come up with this link.
And then
So you
just-
take this
And then
link,
add another
Yeah.
video.
You just add it.
you copy it, Control C.
And then you pick where you wanna
And then,
post it. So to, and
So
there's a
she
whole
was-
category, right? Practice capture, cause you're practicing capturing.
You're not a
But
member.
every single time I have to do it? This
You
way?
are.
No,
are
I mean, you
not.
could put it in a different
So here
category
it
depending
is.
upon what you were record it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And.
So like maybe I wanted like I did a reflection, so I'm gonna put it under that, right?
Okay.
And then share,
You go ahead. And then everybody introduces.
and now everybody sees it.
So here you're gonna say.
And then if I'm going
Share
to
what's new and say.
take this
This is
post
my
awareness to your post. Okay, got it. Got it,
Cool.
cool,
It all talks
Very
to each
cool.
other.
okay. Then
That's
how
why
about
Google is make millions of dollars.
YouTube,
Then.
talk to Swivel.
Whoa. So that's within the swivel
I-
settings.
I
Or
think I did that last night.
You did.
Yeah, so they're also working on that in the sandbox room, making sure that they talk to each other, but I think it's just a matter of
I
logging
think
in.
I don't have my swivel here, so I can't record a swivel thing right now, but.
I'm sorry it took you so.
No, no.
No.
So we need to record something?
Yeah, just practice, uploading something, maybe
Press
reflecting
something.
on like, for you, it might make sense is like, okay, you know, what do I feel like I'm gonna need to do this summer to get ready for this DR role, right? And so even though maybe you make that private, right? Maybe you don't wanna like your
I don't know what you're.
future people to know like what you're scared of, but
Well.
you wanna be able to
I
go
just
back and say,
joined
okay, yeah, I know that I wanted to learn something in particular this summer, and I can go back to that video and remember what
So I
it
just
was.
joined it.
Yeah, you can go and do that, but just a way for you to practice recording.
Great.
Okay. So I'm gonna check.
You finding your password?
Okay. I don't know, I'm gonna write down my first video. You're gonna.
That's a good idea.
And you're gonna, you could have entered the URL as a link, or you
Huh,
could go to
okay,
this,
so-
click on this, save it, add video, go ahead. Click on add video.
I think I used my phone over the summer.
Oh,
Well, I was at the AP Calc Singer training, and I wanted to give them an announcement, like, and tell them like,
Press
hey,
there.
this is what I'm doing for you
then
this week,
hit
and
share.
I like recorded it from my phone, and then I copied the link and sent it out through Remind to all the kids.
There you go.
It was really fun.
So now.
So I just took one on swivel.
Okay,
It says.
so let's see.
Now,
So, there's your,
so I
You have a
got that,
library, right?
yeah,
Go to your library.
it's in my library.
So.
yeah,
There's no, so I uploaded it, so it's in my,
music and stuff.
I mean, I can take it from my photos to YouTube, that's really great.
To add your music.
Right?
I'm not familiar with the music
And
stuff.
then I could,
She showed it on this. The playlist?
Is there like an online site that
You
you
can-
can
upload,
Spice it up and put music in the background.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, the video editing?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it that way too.
So
There's like, I mean, like, you could do it all sorts of ways.
okay, so that works,
Yeah.
that's not too bad.
But I know if you
So
go into the
there's that
Swivel
creators
site, you can make them talk to each other. I know for certain, if you wanna see exactly how it's done, Jessica has a lot more experience with it versus,
So the swivel site, the swivel website,
yeah. So odds are, if you log in with that,
then somehow.
then you've got some sort of settings with them.
Swivel cloud.
Yes. Swivel Cloud is what she was talking about.
It's like you could do a swivel capture.
Yeah, Swivel will capture.
Pretty much the same.
Two people.
It's
Yeah.
similar,
And they said
Well, it may
when,
have been.
that's how you want to do it, using the swivel with the microphone.
yeah.
Since it's
Because
private. Video
if
manager.
you use YouTube
It won't
capture
capture.
on your swivel,
Let me show
it will
you
only use the
guys.
external mic from the, no, it'll use the mic
So-
from the
iPad.
iPad,
in
not
your
the
channel.
mic from the.
So that's why you have to jump through that
And
hoop
up
of
here
taking
is
it from the
video
Swivel
manager.
Cloud to your YouTube channel. Because it'll change the formatting to make sure that it's gonna work for YouTube. Versus if you just use the swivel but capture YouTube, it doesn't, like, not everything talks to everything.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
I deleted the video that
Okay.
I like uploaded. And then how do I, if I'm going to take another one, how do I do it? Or delete
Camera?
this one? Delete camera.
There you go.
And that's it?
No, it's about
Okay,
you.
alright.
Sorry.
No, I like it.
voices.
I'm enjoying it.
Okay, so now, save as
And
a
then,
video.
so
there's a way where you can like take parts and shred it.
And cut it,
you know,
paste it, and the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you record it?
Mhm.
I have.
Where did it go?
Let's see how in here looks like.
I have to play without being afraid I'm gonna break anything.
So we're here with video manager.
And now your voice is.
So it doesn't look like you have a video, so let's see what happens.
Okay, so see on this thing, on the community page,
So let's go.
say attach video,
Back.
and then you can put on your YouTube videos.
Right, and so you want it private,
See, this
just
is
to you.
music. So,
There you go.
I mean, I'm sure there would be a whole class on
There's a way to put
just-
the music into the background.
That's, let's
Are
see.
you? Are you doing the label?
Yes.
You did that?
So
I didn't know where it went then. Did you
I
push?
could do it again.
Okay,
Okay.
try it again.
Yeah,
Cause it doesn't look like it has anything within your.
Okay.
So what she's saying is, then you have to go to
That's just light.
Visual Cloud in,
I don't think that's.
on the internet.
Oh, that's where you gotta turn it.
Little cloud. How do I go to
Yeah.
it?
So go to Safari, yeah.
We wanna add the
Go to
music
my
and keep the voice at the same time.
You can,
Swivel,
but if the audio is, the music is too loud, that might be
So
what
it's
you're
this
running
one.
into. You have to turn the volume of the audio down. So using original audio and you
Cloud
wanted to
volume.
add this or something, does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Favorite original audio.
okay, I'm lost now.
Yeah, so it'll tell you what to favorite, right? Only music, favorite music, favorite of you, but see, that's where if your audio's not loud enough, you can still cover it. Does that make sense?
So if you're in the computer, it has to be different audio.
Right, so you need to make sure that that audio in the microphone itself is nice and loud when you record it. Does that make sense? So if I'm talking like for the purposes of something, I'm making sure
So
that
that's where I'm.
loudly, very clearly, so when I make those announcements for my students, like I make sure that I'm talking loudly and clearly into the microphone, so that way when I add the audio, it doesn't cover me up. But yeah, that's the only thing is they can't, for some reason, I haven't quite figured
Got it there.
export low enough,
She.
like, I tried.
Oh, export to, because it's just, okay, I tried share and it, none of these.
Yeah, there's
good. So go back to export.
Right, and not, like, I could really scale it down, right, but they only have so many different audio settings, and none of them are low enough. So really need the needs of.
Even in iMovie or?
No, I'm talking about just
And YouTube,
and
yeah.
YouTube, right?
Yeah.
See that.
But there's a lot of
slides, so think about that.
Right, oh, okay, so, and then we're gonna go continue.
Is it the same thing, same everything except that?
I believe so. I would give it a try, cause then.
Okay, cool. Can you see now? Those are all the things that we talked about before. Yeah. I think so.
To show them this is what the group is.
I think tagging with the leaps now is
Usually when you have password, they would be reading it.
I need to go back and change that, like, right? So let's say, like, you don't know for that what indicator that you really want. You can go back and add those tags, like, oh my gosh, like, after talking with this person, you realize, like, this is a really great example of, like, before. Like, you're really good at academic vocabulary, right? So,
This
And
is
my
it.
Kelsey.
So it
yeah,
went.
and that would be a really great way of saying. I mean, like, the video is a really great way to take their practice to that next level.
I just have to get their.
Should I do it again?
Yeah, and it makes it really clear, it's about growth, it's not about, you know, and maybe even what I might do is roll it out as like, okay, when I
And
record
then it's there, so now go into your YouTube.
the first so many times, it's not about, like, you don't evaluate, but you can evaluate English one.
You need the YouTube
Right,
app.
okay, but say like, hey, it's just a coaching, when I recorded those first few times, let's make it non-threatening, it's just coaching. I'm not gonna actually evaluate, and we're gonna talk about where you fall into the framework, but am I gonna put that into the system? No.
Okay.
Right, and that might be a really good way to officially roll it out.
hoping the next year will be.
Full, probably.
Okay, you did it.
Yay.
So what you have to do is,
We have
you have
copies
to
from
do,
there, or you can say
from
YouTube and then
Swivel.
search inside
Mhm.
YouTube.
once
And
you
then
have,
select, what do you want this to be?
once you have
Practice reflection.
a video,
The library.
you have to go to export.
Now-
Oh, yep, yep.
And then
And then you can
export
go
to
to YouTube.
YouTube, and once, I think once you have it hooked up to your YouTube
Tube
once,
it just
it'll.
goes to that, yep. Cool.
Okay, so you want YouTube, oh,
Mhm.
you're gonna,
Yes.
okay. So now I have all these wonderful videos on my YouTube
Me
channel, me staring in the camera going. I'm so happy about that.
Mine is my first name underscore last name. But I also
And I've
know
gotten one
from
from
my
my,
apartment, he was P.
I got one from here.
Paul Sugarman. She was like
So now
P
you're-
Sugar
this
M A and then a
I
number.
did,
From this
So I think it has
my
to be
last,
Okay,
okay,
okay.
I did that.
So whatever
Picture
your
full
signature
that.
Yeah.
With the upload.
For Outlook,
And
Yes.
that's what I would try first, but it's .net instead of .org.
because I'm not gonna hold.
Are you gonna do
Okay.
that?
Or, like, do you remember what
I think
your-
when you're
Deflecting.
Yeah.
If you have a computer, then yes.
So I don't.
like when you're logging into a device.
That's exactly what
Like, so when I log into the DPS system, I put Mattea underscore Juengel, but some people put like
I'm
their
in that
first
video right
initial and
there.
their
Oh,
last
and it
initial.
notified
Does that ring a bell?
that my video was, cause my
Right.
Google
So it depends on
email's
how many
connected to this.
I know that you can, there's also a desktop
My
here,
thing is
so
I
you can look up there for you.
the screen, so that.
There.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is that what it was?
You
Is that
can
what it
tell
was?
that's
That's what it
different,
was
that's
for
from
some
Swivel.
So that's what I use to do.
So you're on YouTube.
Okay, so we're gonna do that at dpsk12.net.
That,
So
that
this is
was
my
the one
first
from
YouTube
Swivel.
video.
Right, this is the one.
And this is from your computer,
Mm-hmm.
so
It
you've
is.
done it both now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And you can also do it from YouTube Capture.
Don't look at yourself.
I know.
So if I was
It's
walking
very
around my,
painful.
if I
If you
was
think
walking around
hearing
my
yourself
classroom
is
and not using
painful, looking at yourself is worse.
You know how,
can do it.
so it's
Using just YouTube
YouTube
directly.
Capture.
So just remember that.
Does that make
Like,
sense?
you're not-
So up there, you Swivel Capture.
Again, but not with the, not with the.
And it says that.
Yeah, that's-
If you are gonna capture you doing things, doing teaching, you
And then
use
it's.
Swivel.
Uh-huh.
But
When you wanna use the
show-
mic.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So
And when you
now
wanna
that's
show
that's
students
the,
how they work.
If they're not having
So
the
what's the
mic
name
on.
that you want for your
Yeah,
teacher?
but
You
What
can
I
just
did,
enter,
you can
because
add
this is
for all
close
your
to
videos.
them.
And then,
Okay.
well,
That's
make
totally
Google
fine.
Plus, connect with people you care about, and
Okay.
explore stuff you're interested
Great,
in.
great.
So,
We made some progress.
all these different-
Yes, I'm in hands-on stuff.
Just, you know, when I was
Yeah.
first started, I just thought Google
Right,
was a
right,
search.
we'll get you there, we'll get you there.
Then it became,
So go ahead, fill that out.
I don't think people are associated. And, now,
Oh, yeah, yep.
there's all these apps that you can use with Google Chrome, which is the.
All right, before I forget, because I'm going to forget, because that's what I do, before you leave at all, please do make sure that you do your session evaluation and SchoolNet registration. Jessica has done a beautiful job making sure like all of that is there for you. So that's how you fill out the evaluation, the bit.ly CamCon eval, and then it'll give you instructions on what you're gonna look for in SchoolNet to make sure you've registered for the session, so that you're real, like you were really here.
Wait, we haven't,
Quality was
we haven't uploaded to Google Plus.
Fine. And that probably has to do with brain
Google
damage.
Plus.
Yes. Yeah, I will actually register with you.
Well, yeah, but I haven't shared.
But when you're doing it,
So
you're
I'm
activating
doing
it.
this.
You're but like for example, if I just get from there, then uploading, the quality is
But they,
the device.
delete it right away.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
okay.
Yay.
I mean, it's really nice quality.
Oh, I need to put it in.
Right, all you care about is seeing like what you were saying in the content of your message, it's not like how great your hair is.
No, I have an iPad, so I should set that up.
This is the thing that's.
You know, assuming someone wants to be recorded.
Yeah, and I would coordinate with Angie and Brenda.
Do you want it?
And they might, you know, like be nice and like,
So,
show you
educate us, go ahead and log in.
I'm gonna see them on Friday.
Right.
Which they're recording on my phone now.
Why? Why do you wanna do it on your phone?
I don't know.
What now?
I don't know.
What you wanna do?
Why would I wanna do it on my phone? You can capture it.
Well, it's very.
I'm gonna remind you again to make sure you do that. I do it when I wanna make videos on the phone. Like, so for example, last summer I was at AP Calculus Institute, and I wanted to make a video reminding them of their assignment for the summer assignment. It was due online, just do the online course on Thursday. And so I had my phone out, I'm like doing it selfie style, right? And I recorded like, here's your reminders, blah, 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 blah. And then I uploaded it to YouTube and sent the link out there. Right?
So your students
Yeah, got
will
a
get
video.
notification.
So they get a text message notification with the link to the video and then they can watch it.
How does that work?
Imagine, no, remind. Remind is
Really cool.
Remind.
Yeah.
But see, mine wasn't a parent.
Right.
But
But if you're doing like class announcements or here's what we're doing
Yeah, I
for
could
the
record
week,
the kid.
you could do that too.
Ah.
Now you might have to deal with some like privacy issues and make sure you get like waivers signed and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
see, I've hesitated, I've only on mine to put up like group shots for a whole
Right.
class, because they could technically
Right.
download that to their phone and then they own a picture of Susie,
Right.
which is bad.
Just come register?
Very creepy.
So when you do the releases or whatever it is, I mean, how does that?
And now you have to do the evaluation.
You do opt, the one
It's
that
opt out.
Cam
Yeah.
Opener has is opt out. So
Because you're not putting them public. You're sharing them.
But I think the remind thing would be different.
Yes, the remind thing would be different.
Because
That's why I only send out videos of me, because I gave myself permission to send out videos of me.
And I've only done whole class,
Right.
which is probably this close to not being.
I want you to go to this website called.
But it'd be so much cooler if you could do like class updates of your, to your parents.
Or even
several
like
kids at a
recording
time.
like some of the work, if you have names like covered up. Like, hey, like here's just an overall sample of what our class is doing without the names on it. And I mean, that might be, or even if you have like a sample project from a kid from a previous year, because you want to show parents what their future project looks like, that might be a way to do it. How can I help you?
And then,
Okay, so to do what I need to do today, I just go to YouTube.
Capture? Yeah, let's go to that app. So it's an app that you
Oh,
download.
that's right, okay.
Um,
Should try that.
Okay, that's what we're here for. Alright, and you just need to make sure you create that profile real quick. So you're not on Google Plus yet, is what I'm guessing.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Thought I was, but.
it happens.
What is vlog?
And so, yeah, that was kind of my,
A video blog.
I'm on there as my, in my personal.
So that's what we were doing.
Well, yeah.
But I think you gotta figure out what
It's
you,
more-
where you want it to live.
It's not just stream of consciousness reflection.
Right, and as much as I love you,
It's like something you're putting out
like
there.
really
No, I
is.
want it on the top of the.
Right,
PSA
right.
reference.
So create profile.
Ready for that.
It's the third time I've pressed it.
how did you hear about it? How did you know about this event?
Here we go.
So just record something now?
We're gonna, so this is like the first time you open an app, like, hey, this is all the stuff it does that Mattea already showed you. Yeah, you wanna allow that access. So now it'll also take anything from your camera roll. If for some reason, like you don't remember to use the app, but you record it to your camera roll, it can now access it, which will be really nice for you, I think. And so there you go. You can,
One, anything, just to say something?
oh, yeah. So you can record anything and you just have like the red record button.
Okay, so this is eight, right?
Thank you for.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Wait, what are changed?
Cool, whatever you want.
Did you find it?
Practice
I clicked on the wrong session.
reflection using.
Just register.
Oh.
Clicked on the first session.
Practice reflection using video on June 9th.
I don't think you can unregister.
I didn't register for the first one.
Okay.
I-
Just clicked on the
Yeah.
wrong one, okay. Is there any time?
We did that.
Cool. Go ahead and click the
I will
little,
let you know it on.
there you go.
And then, how would you rather use it?
You can do that there,
Oh, that's great.
if you want.
No,
So
we'll
YouTube
use
has
school
some
business
soundtracks
where you live.
that you can use.
Like, the, I got, when I got the job, that weekend.
It has to be loud.
It might be, so, but if it's, this is just a practice, so if you want the music and you can figure it out, that might be okay, if you don't, like, whatever.
It was 16
Right.
miles.
So let's go back.
What's this one?
This
So actually want,
Eight
we're gonna turn the music down as much as we can, but notice it's limited, right?
So, and so
That's
that's
why
why
I
we're a lot more
want,
Yay.
Going is easier, coming back is really harder.
and so you
Because I
can,
live the
you
highway.
probably wanna change the
So I
prices,
go
it's not
down.
hard, right?
Okay.
And then coming back, it's
You got dates.
I'll add a friend.
I just for you.
Just got it from somewhere, it's my
And
kid.
so enter a title.
That's a good one to take in and out though. That's a
Right,
better
it's
line.
easier, it's
Yeah.
easier.
Our principal's trying to get the one
What
that
was it?
can.
Tina Sanders.
Don't it, I heard that's $35?
Yeah,
I forget.
but she's gonna buy it.
do you know if it's on tennis,
Yeah, right.
mobile, or 30 seconds?
This is on that
I
main
don't
drive.
like having it.
30 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
So is that on?
Let's see what.
That sounds like Highland Square.
Oh, okay. This place.
Practice video. There we go. So basically, because it didn't have your YouTube logged in, it didn't automatically do it, but you've got it logged in, you should never experience that again.
Okay.
There you go, you did it. Was that good?
I don't know if I do it.
Oh, good, good. Alright, again, before you leave, please make sure you fill out the evaluation, so they can decide whether they should.
Did